Hey, Brandon here, and this is channeled advice on the week ahead. I have some channel messages that came through from my spirit guides, the angels and source, ahead of time for this that I'll be reading through, and I'll be flowing with any additional information that my spirit guides, the angels and source, or that my intuition brings through while I'm reading this to you. So let's get started, and this is for July 8th through, I believe, the 14th here. So let's get started here. The first thing they brought through, well, I actually asked about like what would be a good like main theme or message for the week, or just kind of a good general message for everyone here. And the words I heard and brought through were moving on. So moving on from the old, moving on from what doesn't work anymore, even if it's like in work or business, or it's in relationships, or just something that doesn't work for you. Uh, Moving on from hangups, moving on as the result of healing and higher callings that are calling you forward or to something new. You're going to be called to your path. And this is this week for being called to your path. It's not just this week, probably, that you'll be called to your path. There might be steps that come in or ideas that come in, or you're just kind of called away from something or towards something. So just pay attention to what kind of starts to percolate for you this week or show up from the universe as far as callings. The other thing is, well, that was the kind of the main thing. There was something else coming through that I was getting to describe here. And they're like, nope, just move on to one. So I'm going to just trust that you'll understand that. And let's go to the first one. So they showed me a marshmallow for this first bit of channel advice here. And some of this can be like just channeled messages that you might need to hear, or just kind of about the week ahead. And some of it's just specific advice. So this one is be gentle on yourself this week. Really take time to replenish and restore, and really make sure you're in tip top shape. Don't push yourself beyond what you can handle or past where you're comfortable as far as energy usage. Don't consider yourself a robot that can go, 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 go. You are built to have to rest too, and you are supposed to. Take a balanced approach to your life regarding work and rest. Also, don't beat up on yourself regarding anything. Instead, try to look from a higher perspective and approach things from that kind of a vantage point or place here. And you can do that if you channel for yourself and do channel writing for yourself, or if you're approaching things from your intuition and your heart, I guess you could say, instead of just the stories we have, or the judgments or projections, or buying into the stories, judgments, projections of others. So the higher perspective is really just like, what does source say? What do the angels say? What does your highest self say? What does your soul say? What do your spirit guides say? What does your intuition say? And I guess you could say either merge that, or also include your heart wisdom, if that resonates for you as something, and go from there. And your heart is also a center of knowing and intuition as well. Like you could even ask your heart things for messages. And some people even call the heart, like the heart center, the center of your soul. So take all that as it resonates. I mean, I guess heart energy is important right now. Otherwise it, wouldn't be showing up for this. But let's go back to kind of the main thing, which is being gentle on yourself and not beating up on yourself, and being gentle on yourself as far as like what you take on, as far as like tasks to accomplish. And then also being gentle on yourself if you can't do literally everything you'd like to do this week. So there might be some high achievers in the crowd here. And realistically, what I'm getting is you're going to have to take a balanced approach to your work, to your life, to your relationships, and try not to put too much on your plate all at once if you can handle it. And ask source to help you prioritize if you tend to be that overachiever type here. It's better that you're good for the long haul with all you'd like to accomplish, rather than sprinting in short bursts and burning out and wrecking yourself for a long while, even if it's like health or energy wise, or you need like weeks to rest or something like that. That's kind of inconvenient, and more inconvenient than just taking a balanced approach now. So the second thing that came through, they showed me a bear, and the message was divine protection rising. They just said there's a lot of divine protection this week, and a lot of things that are worries that will be resolved, or that will be a non-issue. So if you're worried about something, so don't sweat the small stuff, and know that divine protection is rising to take care of things. There's a lot of divine intervention this week. So things will be prevented from going wrong per se. I know people get worried about the word wrong, but hopefully you just understand what they're saying, when they say that. What I'm getting is things are on the right path, and a lot of things are coming in to prevent you from taking the quote unquote wrong choice, or the path that's going to wreck you, or wreck your health or your business, you could say. Since I mentioned health, legal disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. uh, So even if you feel like things have gone wrong in the past, is what I'm hearing is there's going to be some divine protection or a lot of divine protection that's coming in to just make sure you're making the right choices and to keep things on track and to even keep away the things you fear or are afraid of happening, at least for most of you. And just know you're divinely protected and don't need to worry so much, even regarding like world events that seem like they're going to get you or something like that. A lot of you are afraid for nothing. And if you pay attention to your own world, you'll realize that, especially if you're paying attention to the divine intervention, divine guidance, the divine protection, the divine orchestration that's traditionally been there in your world, is what I'm getting. The other words I'm hearing are stay on your path and you'll be fine. So I would do your best to listen to source if you channel, listen to your intuition, of course, and just trust, I guess you could say. And at the end of the day, like some of you might be afraid of more intense things like death or things like that. And I totally understand that societally we're not trained into being like accepting, I guess, or in allowance accepting of death, maybe, if that makes sense. Like a lot of people are taught that it's wrong, it's bad, fight against it, be afraid of it, etc. And at the same time, like we're all at some point going to die anyways. So how much does take this in a balanced way? I'm not encouraging you to go be a daredevil out there necessarily. But is fear of death like hindering you? How much is it hindering you? And does it even make sense to be trapped in that fear when something's going to happen anyways, whether it, whenever it happens? So, and I'm not saying to rush into that happening or do things are going to move you towards that at all. It's more just like, is that fear really serving you, or how much is that preventing you from really living your best life? And can you be free from that, or more free from that, so you can live in the now and appreciate what's going on more, as far as like the joy you have in your life or the peace you have in your life or the good things, quote unquote. It's just kind of important you're not wrapped up in fear of death long term. And it's like, if you're just moving through something, it is what it is. And you don't have to beat up on yourself and think that's wrong. It's just long term, it doesn't make much sense to be afraid of death your whole life and then you die anyways, right? So just something to keep in mind. Even like regarding, I don't want to talk about it, but what's showing up is like apocalyptic things. It's like, what would be a better use of your time, focus, and energy instead of being afraid of something like the apocalypse, for the few of you who are like in fear about that, which it's not going to happen anyways, is what I'm getting. So there you go too. So we're going to move on to number 3. They showed me soap, and they gave me the words, a cleansing week, WEEK. In it, they give me the phrase gentle as well. So I don't think it's going to be too like crazy, but there are a lot of circumstances being cleansed out of your life, especially old ones, old ideas, old beliefs, and wrong trajectories, or ones that don't fit. So really be gentle with yourself as things are cleansed away. Sometimes when something is taken away, people think they did something wrong. However, you didn't, if that's happening to you in a way like that. So the things that are leaving are the things that are not the best for you, or the things that are wrong for you. You are divinely protected from losing what's important, especially from a source perspective or from your soul's perspective or your highest self's perspective. So there's just a bit of a cleansing going on. I feel like I've been getting this the past few weeks. Like there's like a cleanse or like a release that's happening, or just like old paths are being cleansed away, old beliefs, old ideas, even about who we are, things that just don't belong anymore. So I would trust that and know it's not going to be forever. Even if for some of you it's a bit more of a difficult cleanse, for most of you it won't be. And that's because they said the word gentle, like a gentle cleanse. It's not like a wreck your life cleanse or anything like that. It's not an apocalyptic cleanse or anything like that. So yeah, I guess just be aware that that's happening so you don't freak out if certain things are leaving, or if you're having an off day where like things are just kind of cleansing for you or releasing, even to make room for, or as upgrades come in to upshift you to a higher trajectory and self, just know that's happening and have grace for yourself while the cleanse is going on. So number 4, they show me a carrot, and the message is rise of clarity. So a lot of clarity is inbound. You're going to get a lot of realizations on where to go, what to do next, what needs clearing, what needs to come in, etc. This is great because it gives you a lot more direction in life instead of feeling lost. Even just a little clarity on your next steps or in general can lead to a lot of clarity down the road. So at least act on the clarity you have this week if you are guided to, or it is intuitively the right time for you. So pretty self-explanatory. There's just clarity coming in this week and the weeks ahead. And we're really entering into territory where even for the rest of the year I'm getting, and even beyond that, like there's just more and more clarity rising. So you're going to know what to do. If you feel lost or lost in the sauce, like don't worry, that's going to be rectified and you're right where you need to be. So don't stress out too much. Number 5, they show me a parrot and a parakeet. They just said it's time to go to less different sources of information, really hone in on the ones that work for you and remain free from trying to get too many different opinions. If you feel confused, gravitate towards the few sources of information that really click for you rather than trying to get like 20 million different opinions and then getting lost. So really simple, just condense. Like if you are like listening to like 20 podcasters about the same topic and they all start to conflict and you get confused, like who are the ones that are traditionally and consistently like accurate and helpful for you and make you feel better by the time you finish listening to them instead of like worse or like more stressed or more anxious, and like hone in on those and simplify where you're getting your information so you're less confused. That's going to help a lot. 6, rest. There is a call for recovery and nourishment. This is not going to be a total rest week. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Again, that came through last week as well on the free newsletter I'm doing. We're doing this on YouTube now too. And pretty self-explanatory. It's just like that balanced approach where you're resting enough and you are nourishing yourself enough so that you can succeed. Number 7, they showed me an elephant and they gave you the phrase obstacle removal. And they also talked about memories. So one of the messages is that memories are leaving. This is not a bad thing. So you have like, if there are old memories that like hinder you, like those are healing and releasing so that you can move forward. So you're going to remember more clearly what's actually true and true for you rather than getting swept up in trauma or stories that don't fit, or maybe even things about your past that you bought that aren't true for you, or maybe even things about yourself that you think are true for you that aren't true for you. And this is going to help you. Like the truth is, as the saying goes, going to set you free. So the clarity regarding this will come differently for each of you. It could be like a channel message you hear. It could just be you're sitting outside and it just kind of percolates. You're like, oh my God. And you have this like realization, or it could be your intuition and claircognizant knowing. It'll show up how it needs to for each of you. The other thing is that like obstacles are just lifting. So there are a lot of clear paths ahead in the next weeks ahead and beyond. So it was like clear skies, clear paths, forward momentum for most of you. And the other thing is like, if you're not someone who feels like they have forward momentum, just wait, and the right time will come. You'll get the signs and information to move forward when it's time, and you'll likely feel compelled to at the right time. So do not let this message hinder you. Trust you regarding all that. You'll know who you are and when it's time. And the universe isn't going to leave you behind or in the dust. Like the universe knows what's best for you and the timing is right. So whatever timing is happening for you here. And the last reminder here is just to remember your magic and remember your manifestation abilities. Like you are strong and capable of changing things. Anything. It's possible to move mountains with manifestation, so at least try asking for things if you're at a loss. You are never truly stuck. Stop buying you're stuck and you won't be stuck. Also, magic is coming to rescue you soon here, so just in general, if you're seeing or listening to this, anywhere you're really stuck in the mud or feel stuck or have bought that you're stuck or like you're in a more constricted territory, like magic will come and pull you out and get you on your way. It is a time of being rescued from metaphorical prisons in your life, even prisons of the minds or social quote unquote prisons, or like you feel stuck at a job or you feel stuck because of your family's projections or expectations or whatever. You can extricate yourself from that. So don't feel stuck, and I guess let the magic work because the universe is coming in to help you guys out, whoever feels like they're in that position. So that's it. I hope that this channeled advice in the week ahead has been helpful for you. And if you would like to just know when they come out, you can sign up for my free newsletter in the description, or you can find that on my website, brandonhbloom.com. And I hope you have a beautiful week ahead, okay?